What is up, guys? Today we are looking at the best keystones for each role. We're going to go over the standard stuff. There are fringe cases obviously, but these are just what in general you'll be using on most champions. I'll try and look through every comment on this video, so if you want to know which keystone to use on which champion, ask me down below and I'll try and answer everyone. So first up, what a surprise, we're going to look at AD carry, and realistically we could go for Thunderlords, Fervor, or Warlords Bloodlust, but actually the choice is really between Thunderlords and Fervor. A lot of people have been asking me why you'd get Fervor. So basically at level 18 and at max stacks, Fervor gives us 112 bonus damage on our basic attacks, 14 per stack, and it stacks 8 times. It's not exactly the same as bonus AD. It's not giving us AD, it's just the bonus damage on auto attack. But if we were looking at AD, BF Sword gives us 40. So if we wanted 112 bonus AD, we'd be paying over 3,000 gold for it. That obviously is best case, right? And yeah, it scales up through the game. It doesn't have 14 per stack the entire time. Plus you do have to stack it, so it's not as good as it sounds. It's still great though, and what most people forget is the stacks last 6 seconds. That's actually a long time for a team fight, and you'll rarely lose your stacks. The other option is Thunderlords really. This gives us more burst, and it makes trading in lane do a lot more. It's kind of like, if you want to have a better lane phase, then Thunderlords is going to help with that. If you want to do more DPS in a team fight, then Fervor is better. On Lucian, like, I will sometimes take Thunderlords against a very weak lane because I know that I want to dominate it harder and snowball, whereas in a harder matchup I take Fervor so that I do more in team fights, where I already know that I'm not really going to be doing too much in the lane phase. There are a few that don't fit this, like if you just want to burst people in general, then Thunderlords will be better, so like Corki, Draven, or Graves I guess. Ezreal is probably the weirdest one where you can do either. Fervor stacks with your Q, and I think it's really cool and good for team fights, but Thunderlords definitely packs a punch too. So mid lane, options are really Deathfire Touch, Thunderlords, or Storm Raiders Surge. Deathfire is really good for poke. Like, poke in general is normally quite highish cooldown, which means that you get the full duration of the burn before you apply it again. Like Ryze, I guess, wouldn't use this because he uses a lot of spells in a short duration, right? And someone like Xerath has to wait a little while between each Q, so he would use it. Thunderlords again is just burst and lane pressure. If you want to kill people and you want to kill them quickly, then this is the one for you. Lux is a good example actually, because she could take Deathfire, her poke would be a bit stronger, but Thunderlords helps a ton when she's trying to burst someone in her combo. When you're choosing a keystone, it's not really about what you could do with one of them, like what synergy you could have. It's more about what you're trying to do, what your aim is for the champion. Storm Ranger Surge is a new one. Not many people are using this right now, but I actually think it's pretty good now on certain champions. There are two main times I think you'd use it. So if you want to go in and out of fights a lot, like you have good burst and you wait a little while to use it again, so someone like Victor maybe. Zed and Assassins are a good example at the moment because Thunderlords is really strong in lane, like it is just really strong, but when it comes to later, especially when you have the Duskblade now and your ultimate, you aren't really going to need the Thunderlords proc, so the extra movement speed and slow reduction can make you really slippery and hard to lock down. So for top lane you can run a bunch of different things, but there are definitely a few that stand out. Grasp of the Undying is probably the most common now, I'd say. It gives you good sustain in the lane phase, and it's still relevant going into team fights because it does scale with your max health, and most top laners do build health. This is kind of the default, I'd guess. This is like your normal pick, really. You can't really go wrong with this one, and it does help your laning out. It also just makes you tankier in general. Like, you get health regen, armor magic resist, some health, but you are probably going to miss out on dangerous game because most people go 12, 0, 18. Thunderlords is definitely the more common damage choice, and there are two things really. So first, it gives you more kill potential in lane. If you're aiming to get ahead by farming people rather than farming CS, then this does the job. It's also a little thing in lane, like there is a trade-off to getting Thunderlords. If you can't kill people with this, then the sustain from Grasp is going to add up, and most likely it'll put you at a disadvantage because they're healing a bunch and you're not. Right, so jungle has definitely changed recently. Most people were, and still some are, going Thunderlords. It does give you insane ganks, and that has to be the #1 reason you would take it. If you're like an aggressive early game ganker or you want to invade a lot, then you want the extra damage from it. There are two other options though. So Strength of the Ages, which for some reason I cannot say without getting a craving to play Dragon Age, or Fervor of Battle. I'm just going to call it Strength, okay, so I don't get the urges, but this basically gives us 300 health for free. It makes us a lot tankier, and I think it scales better into the game rather than Thunderlords. The thing is, we are losing a fair amount by doing this, even though we do gain different things. If we go strength, then we aren't likely to go into cunning, which means that we lose out on the buff duration, the bonus damage, the dangerous game, and the extra penetration, and that does not, by the way, deserve a pervy face in advance, okay? We do gain bonus armor and magic resist, we gain some health, some summoner spell cooldown, slow resist, plus the Keystones, so we're trading some offensive tools for defensive. The thing here is, okay, if we already deal good damage, then we're basically making ourselves tanky with some damage, rather than squishy but deal even more. The other option is Devour junglers. You can go strength here actually, it kind of makes us more tanky with damage, which is what we want again, but with most Devour junglers, we only build 1 or 2 damage items and then we go full tank anyway and let Sated carry. Fervor is actually amazing on Devour junglers. We stack it quickly, we use the bonus damage a lot because we have a lot of attack speed, and it's just insane. So I think of it like, if you can get away with it, take Fervor. If not, then strength is good. So last up, support, and support is actually the most simple, honestly, in terms of Keystone. Like, there are quite a few choices, but it's very definitive between which one you go for. If you want to do more damage, an aggressive lane like Morgana, Blitzcrank, or Bard or something, anywhere you want to kill someone, then you can go Thunderlords, and you do pretty good damage while you trade. So Thunderlords is kind of early game, and if you're more concerned about mid to late, or if you're just a tank like Alistair or Leona, then Bond of Stone is going to help you last longer and shield some damage from your AD carries or just other around you. Finally, if you have a heal or a shield, then Wind Speakers is OP as balls, and you will want to take that. So think of like a Nami or Janna, Shona, anyone like that really wants to Wind Speakers Keystone. Anyway, that wraps up the best Keystones for each role, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share, and for now, I'm going to leave you with the robots.